Hey, I'm Ashanti, and you're watching Star Studio.
Welcome to Star Studio, everyone. I'm your host, Jackie Clark, and today I am joined by Grammy Award-winning singer and actress, the beautiful Ashanti. Ashanti, welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. So I want to jump right in and I want to talk about No Address, a feature film on homelessness by Robert Craig Film. So you play Violet, an Iraq veteran who suffers from PTSD and who has turned to drugs as a coping mechanism. Now, I want to ask you, what drew you to this project and made you want to be part of this film?
What drew me to the project is I've never seen anything like this be put on a platform that could create the awareness that it's not getting. I think that the character Violet is something completely different than anything I've ever done, completely opposite of my life. There are some similarities in our personality, but it's just the project is such an important message and it needs to be heard. It needs to be seen, and I'm just like down for change and whatever I can do to lead my voice to help create some kind of change or some kind of resolution, I want to be a part of it. So again, I think it's just a beautifully written story that I think will resonate with so many people. And I think it kills a lot of stigma that just because you're homeless or you're displaced, it doesn't mean that it was a choice. It doesn't mean that, oh, this person is lazy, or oh, this person just wanted to do drugs and became addicted. Oh, this person just doesn't want to work. That's not, these characters are very different. That's not everyone's story, so I think that is so important to put out there, and the fact that we have this platform to tell this story is an amazing thing. So I'm down.
And that's completely, I love all of that because, at the end of the day, regardless of your situation, you are a human being. Some people come from really great backgrounds and end up in, a situation that they couldn't help. So that leads into what I want to ask you next. So how did you prepare for the role and draw inspiration? Did you find any real life individuals or stories? Like, how did you prepare for this?
Well, yeah. All of these stories are real, authentic stories. The writers went and they sat down in LA and in different parts of Sacramento and San Francisco and got these stories from real, surviving people that are surviving on the streets, and just being able to kind of channel that and hear these stories and tap into it, for me, it was just like so different. You know what I mean? So again, the authenticity of these real life stories, that Violet's character is a real person, so I feel like just bringing light to that as a female, as a Black veteran, that's been discharged and on a less honorable, discharge. It's unfortunately it's common, and like you said earlier, we're all human. These are people that are human and that need compassion because this is life that has happened to them. This wasn't a choice, so.
Absolutely. And with that, I wanted to also ask, how did you approach portraying a character's struggle with addiction, homelessness, and PTSD in a sensitive but realistic way?
I don't want to give away too much, but we definitely highlighted what they go through, from me having tracks on my arms, you know what I mean? And showing a person could still be loving and funny and caring, and then have this flaw, this demon that they're fighting, you know what I mean? So I think it was really important to show all of those different sides,
Amazing. Yeah, no, for sure. And outside of whatever everybody's going through, people fight demons every day, in different capacities. So I'm excited about that. So with that, you talked about having tracks on your arm and not wanting to give it too much away. Were there any specific scenes or moments while filming that were particularly difficult for you, stressful, or emotionally taxing? And if so, how did you protect your personal mental health?
Yes, there were definitely moments that were back very, very unfortunate, like just horrible times for me. So tapping into that is not something I love, but you know, it just shows the vulnerability that I was willing or am willing to go through just to get the message out and to show this is really important, you know. And I feel like just as an artist, you know, becoming a character, sometimes it pushes you to go to boundaries that are uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And I feel like the message is worth that, you know. So there are definitely there are a couple of scenes that were not great for me mentally to visit, you know, but in the end, you know, it looked amazing.
I mean, I'm glad it looked amazing, but again, like, how do you, as an actor, as you know, a singer, as so many entities as you are, how do you protect your, like, Ashanti, the person, not the actress, the singer? How do you protect your core and not let these things bother you on a day-to-day? Like, you know, method acting is a real thing, and some people get real deep into that. Like, did any of this, if you're willing to share, did any of this come home with you at night where you really had to be like, I can't, I need a moment, you know?
A little bit, you know, just it just brings you back to that time. You know what I mean? Like if you go there in your mind to pull from that emotion, you know, it's gonna come back. You know what I mean? So for me, thank God, like I'm always laughing, I'm always joking. I have my mom, you know, here in the set, Steph, you know, I have my team here. So we bounce back. You know, there's so many other things. When the camera's off, I'm on music mode. You know what I mean? So my brain goes to so many different places and zones. But again, when you're pulling from a real place, there is no turn the button off. You know what I mean? Like that, it stays with you a little bit, you know, and you think about it and you gotta woosah, you know, and then I might get a little text, you know what I'm saying?
I love that. I love that. And then with that, how do you balance staying true to your character while bringing your own persona, bringing Ashanti to the roles that you play, not just in this particular film, but in other films? How do you, you know, keep it 100 with you?
I think that's the thing for me that is a lot of fun, because like I'm authentically myself and there are characteristics, you know, like there's one scene where Jimmy's mom is kind of walking into the encampment and I'm fixing, like, you know, my bike or whatever, and I hear the footsteps and I grab like a screwdriver or like a knife and I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't know you. What you doing walking up in here? You can't walk in the encampment like that, lady. You know, so that's Ashanti's doing that every time, you know. So it's fun to kind of bring certain elements of myself to the character, you know, and this is for whatever character, you know, you go off of your real natural instincts. And I think that is really important when you are an actor and actress and you're portraying something. You have to bring that authenticity of yourself and just things that you would instinctively do.
Of course, of course. And like you said, at the end of the day, you're playing a part, but you are going to always be you. Some part of you is going to be like,
absolutely,
like that. You know, you can't do those things. Was there any interesting behind the scenes moments or anecdotes from filming that you could share with us? Any cool, fun stuff that happened or anything that you were like, yeah, this was a moment for me?
Oh my gosh, it's weird because there are so many cool moments. There's a big thing, but I don't want to give it away because it's really special. And I think people are going to be so shocked when they see me, you know, in this state. One that I can tell, oh, my double was fire. So I have a stunt double. And we literally could not tell each other apart from behind. It's so crazy. We were looking at the pictures last night. And it was crazy. It was a lot of action. I'm not gonna lie. I did a lot myself too.
I love that. I love that you getting real. Would you do more like heavy stunts? Like if you continue, would you do more like crazy stunts? That's the Ashanti coming out.
Listen, I do my stunts in real life. I like jumping off yachts. I like jet skiing, zip lining, parasailing, all that good stuff. I save that for the real life.
I see you be living your best life on Instagram. I ain't mad at it. Um, so, switching it up just a little bit, I wanted to ask, just for someone who may be looking into getting at acting, some people who obviously you have a lot of followers, they're obviously inspired by you. What advice would you give them in handling rejection in the audition process? Because, that's a thing. What advice would you give somebody who's struggling with handling rejection in, trying to land a dream role?
I think if you look at it like if you mentally go into something saying, understand that you're going to get rejected so many more times than you get accepted, it's just part of the process. It's undeniable. It doesn't matter if you are the top paid actor on the planet of Earth or you're not, you're going to get rejected. It's just part of it. Sometimes you're too tall, or sometimes, whatever. It doesn't fit. It's not right. The cadence is not what we're looking for. It could be a gazillion things. Don't think that it's you and there's something wrong with you. It's just for that particular character and that particular film or whatever it is, TV show, whatever. This isn't what they're looking for this character. So I think mentally just understanding that being rejected is part of the process. It's just, that's it. You know what I mean? Like when you go down and you tie your shoe, you do the little bows, you can't tie your shoe without the little bows. You cannot get to where you're going without being rejected. So it's inevitable and it's just part of it. So don't take it like a personal thing. Don't take it like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. Just take it as, hey, this is part of the process. That's it.
I love that. And what's the best advice you've received about acting? And if so, who gave you that advice, if you remember?
I had an acting coach. It's so funny. I actually called him. I'm not sure if he's still around. He was older and he was blind. And I used to go and sit in his apartment. And I feel like because he was blind, all his other characteristics were so heightened. And him and his wife used to sit and we used to go over, scenes and stuff. His name was Peter Miner. And he was just so amazing. And he always told me, bring your heart to the character first. Be who you are and illuminate the character with just bits and pieces. Do what the director is asking you to do, you know what I mean, and what's on the paper, but you're responsible for like bringing that to life, so that's something that I've always just held. Just being authentic is the best thing that you could possibly do.
I love that. I totally love that. Because again, you are bringing that character to life, like you said, so you have to, be you at all costs. And you talked about, listening to what the director said. So how did you work with the director and other actors or cast members to create a cohesive and impactful performance?
Well, I love Julia. She's a female, so it's always great to have a female director. Everyone connected. It was such like a really, really great experience because we're like a caring ensemble and we all want each other to look amazing and be authentic. And everyone has, I think, the same compassion for the project and all of our characters. And in the film, we really do create a family, you know what I mean? So it was really cool. Just when you find someone that cares about your performance and that cares about the little nuances to making sure that everything is as real as possible, that's a blessing. They want you to shine on screen, so Julia, she's been awesome, down to the breathing, just make sure, you know what I mean? like if you're running, at this point you're going to be tired because you've been running for a mile, you don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Like those things are important, so.
I love that sense of care. And like you said, it's a family environment where everybody wants everybody to win. So what impact do you guys hope this film will make on its audience in regards to raising awareness for addiction, PTSD, health, and homelessness?
I hope that this film creates enough awareness for us to find a resolution and a solution, because it's mind-boggling to me that there are certain people that are actual billionaires, like with more money than you could ever use. Now, look, I understand generational wealth and passing it down, passing it down, passing it down. That's my goal. But when there are millions of people that are just living on the street, going to garbage cans for food, not having water or clothes, like, it's hard for me to understand, how are we in that space? How is it possible for one person to have $2 billion and you have millions of people that have zero? You know what I mean? So we have to fix that. There's got to be something. The gap is too far. There's got to be something that we could do to help fix and facilitate that problem. We have to fix it, so if there is something, what I want is to, again, create the awareness and create the compassion, again, that these people, not everyone is just lazy and doesn't want to work. Not everyone just blows their opportunities. There are some people that unfortunately these things happen to, you know what I mean? And it's out of their control, So I think the compassion, the reality that this is going on, and how do we fix it? That's what I'd love to do.
And you made a great point. Regardless if you're a billionaire, millionaire, everyday person, I think we all have to become humble and realize that at some point in time we could actually end up there too, right? Like this story.
That happens in the story as well. It happens. You see a person that's, and then gets knocked right down.
Shortfall of grace, So speaking about that though, how do you guys hope this film will contribute to a larger conversation about the challenges faced specifically by female soldiers and veterans, and the need for better support and resources for those struggling with mental health issues and addiction, especially for females?
Absolutely. I mean, I hope and pray that this puts the right amount of eyeballs and the correct eyeballs on this problem. Being a Black female, in the industry, in the music industry, is its own thing. You know what I mean? So bringing it to this level where you have a female that's fighting for our country, and then there's a scene where Violet is just like, these people, they treat me like trash, and she just feels so disrespected after working and serving a country and then just getting kicked down. You know what I mean? When she's putting her life on the line, it's sad, So again, hopefully this puts more eyes on it so that we can focus on that and figure out how to fix that.
Absolutely. I used to work in a warehouse, and a lot of people from India used to come to the warehouse, and they were doctors and stuff in their prime, but they were put down and started at the bottom, and it's definitely, for me being in a position to help, it was definitely, I could see the humanizing of that, and it just wasn't a good feeling. So being in a position to help, I totally understand that. And I know we're running out of time, so I want to ask you, what is next for you? Because you always have something kind of cool going on between a book and music and films. What's next for you, Ashanti?
I'm just so excited to be releasing new music.